Hello, you guys. Welcome back to Rebuilding in Recovery. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Tracy. I am a recovering heroin addict and a therapist. And Rebuilding in Recovery is where I share my stories and education to help you build a happy, successful life after addiction. You guys can find all the ways to connect with me below the video, my social medias, my services, my support groups, and that's the end of my pitch. So let's get started with a very important question. Is it okay to smoke weed in addiction recovery? Common question. Now, as a fellow human and a therapist, it is not my job to tell you what is good or what is bad, or what to do or what not to do. It is my job to give you the facts, which is what I'm going to do today, so that you can make your own informed decision. So we are going to cover today what happens to your brain when you use cannabis in recovery. Now, first of all, why is this such a common question? Sometimes in addiction recovery, we are left feeling blah or depressed or down or anxious or with insomnia that no over-the-counter medication can touch, or chronic pain, and we are supposed to deal with all of these things sober. What? I personally struggle with anxiety and chronic pain, and that did not happen until I entered recovery. I think also weed is becoming more and more socially acceptable. Its recreational use is being legalized in many states all across the United States, so it is everywhere right now. It is a natural way to accomplish these things that over-the-counter medications are not accomplishing for us. But feeling chronically in pain or chronically stressed out is a recipe for disaster. It is a recipe for relapse. It is extremely triggering, and it makes us want to pursue our drug of choice to take these things away again. Now, marijuana does have proven benefits of decreasing anxiety, helping insomnia and chronic pain, and it is an option to you if you are struggling with these symptoms and you are on the brink of relapse because you have failed to find relief anywhere else. But before you move forward with getting your green card, I just want you to be aware of what happens in your brain when you use marijuana in recovery. Specifically, I want to touch on your first year of addiction recovery. During this first year, actually this first 18 months, your body is healing. It is learning how to regulate hormones on its own again instead of needing drugs to boost them. Now, eventually, during the span of this next 18 months, your body will learn how to regulate itself again. Your hormones will be regulated and functioning normally like they used to, and you will wake up feeling normal and good again like you did prior to your addiction. You won't wake up sad, craving, tired, and unmotivated. That is all very common to feel in your first 18 months of recovery. Now, the hormone that is responsible for our feeling well after addiction is dopamine. You have probably heard me talk about dopamine many times. Now, if you are not familiar with dopamine, I have linked below this video my video explaining all about how dopamine is impacted by addiction. So weed and dopamine have a very interesting relationship. Mary Jane can actually prohibit our dopamine functioning and cause our body to produce less dopamine over time. So using this during your first year of recovery can actually really interfere with your healing process. Your body is already struggling to make dopamine on its own, and you just did something that makes your body have an even harder time producing dopamine on its own. So those symptoms that we experience in early recovery of low mood, fatigue, lack of motivation, and cravings can persist longer than that 12 to 18 months because you have interfered with that healing. Now, after the first year, what Mary Jane does is she overstimulates the reward center in your brain. This overstimulation can leave you feeling off or low or craving something when you don't have it. So at that point, you have then developed an addiction or a craving or that feeling of needing something all the time. Like, have you ever felt like I need something to help me relax before I go to bed? You have put your body back into a state of needing something. that you worked so hard to get out of. And that lack of stimulation can lead you to wanting to use marijuana more often, or maybe it will lead you to trying to fill that void with cigarettes or junk food, or maybe it will lead you back to your drug of choice. So if you do choose to smoke weed in recovery, it is chemically likely to lead you back to a place of craving something or needing something regularly. And it can be very hard to get out of that place once you're in it. Now, for some, this will lead to imminent relapse. For others, it may only lead to a craving to smoke every night before bed. So to answer the question, is it okay to smoke marijuana in recovery? You have to ask yourself that question. And here's the key now. You have to be honest with yourself. If you know that smoking weed makes you crave other things, you have to be honest about what you're feeling and how it's impacting you. Weigh the pros and cons, the benefits versus the consequences that you experience from using weed. If you are one that can smoke only at night or sporadically and not be further tempted to smoke all day long or go back to your drug of choice, then yes, weed could be beneficial to help you alleviate those symptoms that we've discussed. But if you are the type that takes a little bit of anything and immediately are headed to the city to get dope, this is probably not a good decision for you. And if you are that person, then I recommend exploring other solutions with your doctor or your mental health professional to help you alleviate these symptoms without the use of weed. So I'm not going to tell you that smoking weed in recovery is good or bad or what to do. I'm here to share these facts with you, and the key is to be real with yourself and deciding what is best for you. I am a firm believer that recovery looks different for everybody, and as long as you are continually progressing and continually moving forward, you are in recovery, whether you smoke weed or not. If you have any questions on the information that I shared today, drop them below the video. I would also love to hear what you are struggling with addiction-wise, or if you have a loved one in addiction, share your struggles in the comments below the video. I will put them on my list, and feel free to share this video with anybody you know who is struggling with this decision right now. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I will see you in my next one.